Alright, yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and I think it's finally time to make a solid breeding guide. I'm going to be breeding today a Scyther up from 1 times 31 all the way up until a 5 times 31 with nature. That's right, I'm embracing my least favorite Pokemon in all of PokeMMO. We're going to be making a Scizor comp here today. Now, I do want to quickly note that I actually don't recommend making 5 times 31 or 6 times 31 or perfect Pokemon like this. I think it's totally valid and totally worthwhile to just make really decent competitive Pokemon with the stats they really need in those 31s and then 25 plus in the other stats. So for example, for something like Scizor, I would recommend going 31 attack, 31 speed, and then 25 plus HP, defense, and special defense. And you don't really need that times 531. It doesn't actually come into play that often statistically in PvP. You might win like 0.1% more matches or 0.001%, excuse me, or 0.01% more matches than someone without, but it will rarely come into play. And especially if you're a new player in PvP just trying to get into PvP, the price difference in the barrier of entry is absolutely huge between a 5 times 31 Pokemon, costing you upwards of 600k to maybe up to a mil versus a 2 times 31 and 25 plus maybe costing you 150k, 250k. It absolutely just allows people to get into PvP more, and it's a great way to do so, and it's a totally valid budget way to do so. But today we're going to focus on the basics of breeding, showing you guys braces, explaining to you how breeding up Pokemon works in the whole 1 times 31 process. Alright, I'm also going to be keeping track of how much money this breed has cost me down in the bottom left corner with the calculator. But first things first, for those who don't know, whenever you breed 2 Pokemon together in PokeMMO, it will consume those Pokemon, so they will be poofed into non-existence, and then you will get to have control over how the baby will come out. So you kind of give up the Pokemon. You especially pay more Pokeyen and pay more of a price for much more control and having a nice consistent outcome and being able to see that outcome before it actually comes out. Alright, I'm actually going to be inserting this clip in post, I guess, because this is so important. It needed to be at the front of the video. Please, whenever you start a breed, make sure you breed egg moves onto a Pokemon first. Breed egg moves on before you do any sort of IVs, and understanding whether a Pokemon needs egg moves or not is super important. You never want to get to the 5 times 31 stage in a Pokemon or complete a breed and realize, oh no, I really need this required egg move for this Pokemon to be relevant in competitive play. One of the best examples is Azumarill. Azumarill really needs Belly Drum and Aqua Jet, which are 2 chain egg moves, which is a long process to get to. Now, I have a guide on how to breed Aqua Jet and Belly Drum onto an Azumarill, but I really recommend breeding the moves on first. Please, once again, as a TLDR, check and make sure if your Pokemon needs egg moves before breeding it. Now, the most important part you'll see on this breeding screen are these green numbers. When they're lit up like this, you can actually hover over them and see it's a 100% chance for the IV to come out 31. The reason this is the case is because of these items. Braces. So the best way to start a first breed is to get 2 Pokemon with 31 IVs and different stats, very important, and then simply brace the stat that's on the Pokemon. So for example, I have 31 speed on this Scyther. I'm going to speed brace it with a power anklet. I'll show you guys the shot for that in a sec. The power bracer you give to the other Pokemon with the other, or the others, the bracer correlating to the stat. So this Ditto has 31 attack, so I give it the power bracer. You can buy all the bracers and any sort of breeding stuff you might need from any shop. There's always this person in any sort of breeding daycare. You go talk to her and she has all of the bracers, anklets, belt. They're all called different things. These items will 100% pass the IV of the Pokemon they're attached to. So since I have the speed stat, the speed anklet there, it's going to pass the speed IV 100% of the time. Now, obviously, you can only put 1 item on each Pokemon, so that comes into play a ton, and that's where the kind of math and confusion kind of comes into play when breeding up Pokemon. But anyways, on to the price. I'm probably not going to be talking about it too much from here on out, but I got this Scyther for a really cheap deal. I got it for 700 to 800 Pokeyen. I'm going to mark it at 8k just because this Ditto cost me around 5k, and then the braces each cost 10k, so we're going to go ahead and add 20k onto that, putting us at a 33k total spent so far. I'm going to go ahead and go through this breed, and then I'll show you guys the second step. Here I am showing the screen. This is going to give us a 2 times 31 Pokemon. Now, I actually also I'm going to go ahead and pay for a female gendered Pokemon here. This is really, really important. So the female of the breed, I'm going to add 5k to the price check as well. The female of the breed decides the species. So what that means is if I were to breed a 2x31 Scyther like that, and then it were to come out as a male Scyther, if I were to try to breed that Scyther with something else in the age group, what is it, Bug age group? What Scyther's age group even? Bug. Let's say I were to try to breed this with like a female Shuckle or something. It would actually then come out as a Shuckle, and that would be really bad because I don't want a Shuckle with 31 attack and speed. I want it as a Scyther. So to breed the Pokemon species you either want it to be female and you can breed it with a male of the same age group, or you can breed it any Pokemon with a Ditto. So if you have a male Pokemon you want to come out as that species, that's how I did that first breed. That Scyther was a male, so I bred it with a Ditto to make sure it came out as a Scyther. Also, quick tip, it's always nice to have a flame body Pokemon in the front of your party whenever you're doing any sort of egg hatching like this. It'll just speed up the egg hatching process, and there's no downside to it. Alright, there we go. Our egg is hatched, a 100% female Scyther with 31 attack and 31 speed. Now, the next step is breeding it up to a 3x31. The way breeding like this works is you go from a 1x31 to a 2x to a 3x to a 4x. Each time you sort of slowly bring it up by 1 IV. And a lot of people get confused at this step because they don't understand how the passing of the IVs works. They're like, hey, like you can't brace, multiple stats. What do I do here? And the best way to explain it is that if 2 IVs match exactly, they will always pass over, so you don't need to brace them. And I'll show you guys a quick visual of that and show you guys what kind of Pokemon you'll need to buy at this stage. Alright, I went ahead and checked through all of the stats that could match, but also have one separate, and this is the best match that I'm going to find. So I'm going to buy this Masquerain for 35k, add that to the price check, plus 35k. What is that, 73k spent so far? And let's go ahead and pick up our bracers. Alright, now let's go ahead and look at these 2 Pokemon and figure out what bracers we need. So we can see that the 31 speed IV matches, but the attack and the HP IV, the HP IV are different. So we're going to pick up an HP brace here and an attack brace and then head over to the breeder and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alright, so here you go. Do you see how it's coming out as 31 in 3 spots? Because the speed's going to pass. You actually don't have to brace it. It's a 100% chance since they both share that stat. But we can brace the 2 stats that are different, which are the HP and the attack, and that's going to put us with a 3x31, random nature Scyther. Now we are going to go ahead and breed this, and then once again, we're going to pay the 5k to make it female. So we have to add 5k for that sort of extra gender price check, and then also add 20k for the braces. So we're going to add 25k here, essentially. I misclicked, I'll just subtract 200 here. That's going to put us at 98k spent so far for a 3x31. Now that is pretty good. If we were so you do end up making some money when breeding like this, but you end up losing time, and that's sort of the counteracted. So let's go ahead and price check. If we were to look for a Scyther that had the stats that we've bred so far, what's that? What's the cheapest one? 150k. And that's an accurate price check. So 150k for the stats that we've bred so far for 98k. So breeding is profitable. Breeding saves you money when breeding for competitive Pokemon, but it is time consuming, and that's sort of the trade-off. Obviously, time is money, important thing to factor in. Now, obviously, I'm just sitting here breeding 1 egg at a time and hatching 1 egg at a time, which is really inefficient, but I'm obviously doing this for this guide. If you can stack multiple breeds at once, you can really make a lot of Pokeyen per hour breeding, but it does get really confusing and really convoluted, and you'll lose track of which breeders you bought for which Pokemon, etc., etc. Even I make this mistake all the time. The amount of times I buy a breeder that I think is perfect for a Pokemon and then end up having to resell it because I moved too quickly or got confused, it happens to the best of us, even the veterans. So make sure to kind of play at your own pace and sort of understand, like, hey, how many breeders can I track at once? Is 2 my maximum? Is 3 my maximum? At 4 do I start losing track? Kind of grasp your understanding. Hey, like how many things can I multitask and keep track of? Alright, the egg is hatched. Let's go ahead and check out what we're working with. Came out bold nature, which isn't good, but that's okay. We're not stopping the breed there. You don't need to worry about the nature until once you get close to the end of the breed. And if you catch the correct nature for the Pokemon you're trying to breed around that 4 IV mark, then it might be worth to actually try to maintain that nature with Everstones. And that sort of creates a more complicated breeding process, but it's more consistent at the end, and it's really nice to get it at the end. And it can save you a lot of money. But let's go ahead and make a 4x31 with this. Alright, so as you can see, this is where the breed is really going to start to get expensive. I'm going to be picking up this Paris here. That's actually a pretty good deal, and it even has a particle effect on it. So you know what? A bit of a small added bonus. Kind of getting that particle effect for free. This was the cheapest. For this breed, you're going to need 2 matching IVs. So I'm picking the attack and the speed, and then we're going to be bracing the special defense on the Paris and the HP on the Scyther. I'm going to go ahead and add the 120k price for the Paris onto this, and then also the 20k for the braces. What is that? 140k add to the price check. Let's go ahead and do that. Plus, oh, messed up the math. I do that every video. 1 sec. All right, 140k plus the 98k is going to put us at 238k spent so far. Let's go ahead and pick up those braces. All right, so here's what our breed is going to look like. And as you can see, it's coming out 4 times 31 with the particle effect, which is a nice little touch. My OT. 31 special defense, 31 speed, you know, 231s there. The only thing we're going to need left after this is a defense IV, which is awesome. We're going to have to buy a 4 times 31 for that probably, but we'll see how that goes. You might even need to buy a 5 times 31 if you really want to finish it with the nature, but we might pull a gamble. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on this breed, and I'll see you guys when the egg hatches. I'm definitely make sure, especially once you get to these later breeds, you're paying the extra 5k to make it a female. If you were to have to pay for a ditto to get like a 4 times 31 ditto, it's going to cost you like 1.2 to 2 mil. They're really unbelievably expensive, and it becomes not even worth it to continue that breed. You end up kind of having to sell that off and then start the breed from scratch. So make sure in those later breeds, please remember to pay that female price for the Pokemon you want to keep that species of. It's really crucial, especially later in the breed. Now, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but it is super important whenever you're breeding a Pokemon to understand what IVs it actually needs. So, for example, if I were to have bred Special Attack on the Scizor, it would have been totally useless. Scizor uses no special attacking moves, it would have been totally irrelevant, and it just would have lost me a ton of Pokeyen. I've made a video talking about this specific mistake before and how important it is not to make it, but it really just comes with experience and like, you know, time and just playing the game and really, you know, experience, just understanding what Pokemon need what stats. But if you're really not sure, try asking around, try asking your friends, try asking my Discord. I'm sure they'll be happy to help. And then if you really don't know and you really just don't want to risk it, can't figure it out, leave a comment and I will try to respond as soon as I possibly can, letting you know what stats that Pokemon needs. Alright, here we are, our Scyther's hatched, and now it's important to keep track of the nature. So our Scyther came out with mild nature, which is totally irrelevant / bad. So all I need to do from this point on is get a 4 times 31 male egg group Pokemon in the bug egg group, and then hope for that nature. And if you don't get that nature, that's where it's going to cost you some serious money. So we're going to try our best to randomly roll a good usable nature, but we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. Alright, here we are looking for a compatible breeder, and I found this one for 210k, and that's definitely going to be the cheapest, it looks like. That's a super good price for that, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that up, add 210k. Obviously, as you can see, it really exponentially, I forgot to do the price thing, it's 243k plus 210k. It really exponentially gets so much more expensive as you get up in the breed. And this is why I always recommend people to just make like a 2 times 31 or a 3 times 31. They're just so much unbelievably cheaper, especially when you're not considering like move setting the Pokemon yet in price check. We're not considering the, you know, the move set, the TMs it might need, maybe it needs an ability pill, etc., etc. There's a lot of other expenses that go into this. So it's really important to just try to get a good deal, try to get it on a budget. Alright, but after buying the braces and putting them on, here we are with the final breed. Hopefully, it depends on the nature. Nature is super important, so I'm probably going to have to rebreed for that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add 20k to the price check for the braces, because I haven't done that yet. So, it's cost us 473k so far to breed this 5 times 31, plus the 5k I'm about to put on for the gender fee. So, let's go ahead and add that. So, 478k in total so far for a 5 times 31. Let's go ahead and go through with this breed. Wish me the best of luck. We can also go ahead and price check. I'll actually show you guys, if I were to have just bought a Scyther off the GTL, disregarding the nature for 5 times 31, how much would it have cost me? Let's go ahead and let's see how much money I've made and or lost. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've made a terrible deal or something like that. So I could have actually bought a Scyther with no nature for 500k. So honestly, I've kind of lost a decent amount of money here. These are some really cheap sites. Not lost money, but I've made very little is what I'd say. I would kind of call it losing money just because I spent, you know, a lot of time having to gather all this and everything when I could have just bought them for 500k. This breed was surprisingly not really worth it. I really think you make the most amount of money in a breed during that sort of like 2 to 3 to maybe 4 times 31 range. But once you reach that 5 times 31, you're kind of making less money. As you can see, the margin here is pretty minimal for the amount of work and time I had to put into this. Now, this can definitely be different depending on the Pokemon and the species and the breed. Scizor is a really desired Pokemon, so maybe I wonder what's the cheapest for the correct nature, though. That also is a really important thing. So let's say this Scyther randomly rolls Adamant Nature. That would be best case scenario. What's the cheapest 5 times 31 Adamant? There we go. So now we see an accurate sort of price check where if this Scyther randomly rolls Adamant Nature, I'd be making myself like 600k. Now that is some serious profit. So that's where a lot of your profit margins are going to end up coming in at. Randomly rolling the nature at the end is just so important to whether you make money or break even, etc., etc. Alright, here's the moment of truth. The Scyther hatched. I haven't checked the nature yet. I'm really hoping for Adamant. Now, if it's something like Brave, I might actually go ahead and roll with it. But let's go ahead and check. Wish me luck. It actually did come out Brave. You know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and stop the breed here and call that good enough. But I want to explain to you guys what you might want to do or what happened if it came out a wrong nature. Now, Brave definitely isn't ideal, so I don't want people to go around like trying to aim for Brave nature. Adamant is definitely better, but honestly, Brave is worthwhile, and I'm okay with it, so we're just going to keep that. But what would happen if it came out with like Modest or some sort of totally unusable nature? I'm going to show you guys your options and something that people don't actually talk about enough. So if your Scyther came out the wrong nature, what you would do is you would go to the GTL, look for a male breeder, egg group bug, Adamant nature. You really need the nature, and then you would sort of go through. This is the best one that I found. You want a 4 times 31 so that you can brace one of the stats on your Scyther while putting the Everstone on the other Pokemon. So you need a 4 times 31 to be able to complete this breed. We would sort by lowest price. This is the cheapest one that I found. Now, if I were to buy this Shuckle and breed it, Adamant nature, I'd be spending, what is that? What if we were to add 450k to this price check? I'd be spending 928k for an Adamant Scizor slash Scyther, when you could have, look at this, you could have actually just bought one for the same price, if not cheaper, with Adamant nature. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go for Scizor. Now there you save a little bit of money, but Scizor I saw, yeah, here's one for 920k. So I could actually buy this one that's fully moveset, so you're saving like up to 100k on TMs and stuff. I can just go ahead and buy this one and save a ton of money, plus time EV training and XP training it. So if this is the situation for you, if you encounter this situation where your Pokemon comes out with like an unusable nature and it's going to cost you a lot to breed that nature onto it, honestly, what I might recommend doing is just selling this Pokemon with the wrong nature as a 5 times 31 and then restarting your breed from scratch. Now, it's totally up to you, or you could just go ahead and buy this one. So it's totally up to you. You could go ahead and sell the current one that you tried to breed and just buy this one, and you would save a little bit of money in the total, you know, long term. Or you could restart the breed, and then if you do randomly roll that nature, you'll end up saving like the 4 to 600k or whatever. So it's up to you. It's up to, you know, how frustrated you get with breeding, how much patience you have, etc., etc. Breeding can make you a lot of money, but it really does come down to the randomness and the RNG roll of the nature towards the end of the breed, which is the scariest. But rebreeding of 5 times 31 for the correct nature often ends up being more than what it's worth, is sort of the TLDR. I feel like people don't talk about that enough. It's totally common and it's totally productive sometimes and objectively efficient to scrap a breed, sort of sell off what you've made so far, make a small profit, and then either try from scratch or just straight out buy the comp you want. So I wanted to talk about that. It's pretty important. I don't think enough people talk about it. I'm super lucky to have gotten the nature that I consider to be like the only second, I guess, worthwhile. If it came out Jolly, I could have used that as a competitive Scyther in NU, honestly, but maybe that would have been better for me personally since I'm an NU player. But anyways, I really hope this guide was helpful to you guys today. I've been putting it off for a long time. I don't know why. I really wanted it to be perfect and educational and informative. So if this guide was helpful to you, please let me know by liking the video. It means the world to me. And also subscribing to the channel for daily PokeMMO content. I'm one of the most consistent, if not the only consistent PokeMMO YouTuber out there. So subscribing to my content for daily uploads is really helpful. Also checking out the Discord link down below if you want to join a really cool community and just learn a lot about the game at a rapid pace. And then finally, if you feel as though I have earned it and you feel as though I have entertained you enough or informed you enough about PokeMMO, going above and beyond and becoming a YouTube member for $5 a month, dropping a Twitch Prime or Twitch sub over on my Twitch, or hitting up my PayPal or Venmo linked below, literally physically allows me to keep making videos like this and content like this. So thank you all so much. It means the world. I hope you have a great day. If you have any breeding qualms or issues or questions, let me know in the comments down below. I hope it goes smoothly for you guys. Have a good one. Peace and love. Yo, bye. Hey, thanks so much for watching till the end of the video. And a huge extra special thanks to all those cool duders who go above and beyond and support the channel and allow me to keep making content every day. You guys allow me to do what I do. Thank you so much. Have a good one.